Hello folks! Well, as you can see, given our surroundings, we have arrived in none other than Maine on our New England Excursion, the sequel, part 2. And we've been to Maine before, but sadly, we didn't get to reach the parts that I really wanted to reach last August. And so I've brought you here to a special region of Maine. This is the easternmost region of Maine, right along the shore. We have a more frontier region of Maine. There's not as much going on. But here in Downeast, oh, it's a special place that I'm glad we get to visit here on this trip. It is a calm and tranquil day here. A little bit chilly, but given the location, it's kind of understandable. We are at the very northeast part of the country. And what's so special about where we are? Well, I'll tell you, this is the easternmost town in the whole country. Welcome to Lubec. Now, although this downtown area of Lubec, I don't know if you could call it a downtown, but this central area where all the people of Lubec live, it's not really the easternmost point of the US. By the end of the video, we will have touched down on that exact easternmost point of the country. It's always fun to look on a map of the US and be intrigued about its extreme points, whether you're talking about the highest or lowest point in elevation, or just the general northernmost point, or the southernmost point, westernmost point, of course, and now we are here and we're about to see the easternmost point of the entire country. And now you can see why I was really rearing to go to this place last August, but unfortunately, just due to the scheduling, it wasn't really possible. So today, we get to really bask in the joy and wonder of visiting that easternmost point of the US here in Lubec, Maine. Yeah, people live here. It is a town like any other. It's a very small town, and as you can see, it's got that rustic, historic, fishing town feel. As we get to explore the downtown central area of Lubec, you'll see that it's just a town like any other. Sure, it's got that little catered to tourists feel where they have easternmost town in the US on every sign, every shop, or, you know, you get that feel that you're in a town catered to that, but at the same time, it's a normal town. It's got that rustic New England pier town feel. I mean, come on, that old worn down building just screams old New England town. But yeah, before anything else, let's just start getting acquainted with Lubec. It's not hard to understand what defined Lubec through its history. From the artwork to the memorial back here. Fishing was a big industry, and it only makes sense. We're right along this massive river, or bay, or I'm not sure what to call it. But if you were witness to the history of Lubec through the centuries, you might have seen countless fishing vessels all lined up. I mean, even now there are boats. They might be for fishing today. Walking throughout the town itself, you can see all of the traces of Lubec's maritime past. You see those docks? They probably had a wooden plank right in between them where right beside them, other types of boats and vessels would inhabit it. And today, they're, well, inhabited with all those birds over there. Lubec is pretty well positioned with its geography. It's right next to the water, so of course there's that maritime access from one point to another. There's a whole string of islands right around Lubec. But our next question is, if this is it, if this is all that there is to the mainland US, what's that over there? Well, that's Canada. That is the province of New Brunswick. I don't believe this is mainland Canada. This is just one of those islands because around this area, lots of islands. But that's why you can see that bridge, because that is the bridge which connects the US and Canada. That's why you might see Canadian flags all across Lubec, because, well, I guess they're trying to be friendly to their neighbor. They're just over there. Town is so small. You can walk anywhere within 5 minutes and reach that place. So I want to see if we can get to that border crossing, because I'm pretty sure, like everywhere else that there is a border, there's probably some border patrol office, and I want to see if we can get there. I find it so interesting how there's just people, ordinary people who live in Lubec, who live blocks or a mere walk of a bridge away from another country. So fascinating. Yet, you know, that's the case. It's nice to know that because Canada and US are on such good terms with each other, that the border is pretty much open. Now please, if anybody lives nearby Lubec or knows what this sculpture is about, please tell me. This is such an intricate design, but I can't tell for the life of me what it represents. I think we've explored enough of Lubec, the town center. What say we all visit someplace else right before we head to the easternmost point in the US? What the? This is extraordinarily beautiful. I did not expect this on my little journey up here. This is amazing. This is definitely what comes to mind for people who think about the natural beauty of Maine. We're a little bit away from the town center of Lubec, but only a few minutes drive away and a little bit of a walk through a coastal trail here at the Boot Head Preserve. Well, you're gonna find this. Some scenic Maine beauty. You could see everything from, well, yeah, that's the Atlantic Ocean, that's the ocean blue, to the rocky coastline. They call it the Bold Coast for a reason. We're here in Downeast, but the easternmost stretch of Downeast, that's the Bold Coast. That's where you see these stark, rocky coastlines. And no wonder it's called the Bold Coast, because it looks so menacing. It's bold enough to deter people who want to land their boat. I want to give a moment to admire this whole scene of natural beauty. It's amazing. I really can't describe it other than using the same few words, but it's amazing. The nature you're going to find here in Maine is unlike what you might find in the rest of the states. There's a reason people go here for vacation. You know, from the coniferous trees all abound to, of course, the rugged, sharp coastlines. It's all you really want in a nice, picturesque view. All right, everyone, I think it's time. Time for what I hyped up at the beginning of this video. It is time to head to the easternmost point in the United States. Well, here we are, as engraved on that stone right here. We are at the easternmost point in the USA. This is it. We're at West Quoddy Head State Park, right on the very tip, and you can see a nicely colored lighthouse. Beautiful area. I don't know, I am just stunned. I've been thinking about this place for months and months, and we're finally here. It may not be as significant as I deem it to be in my head, but to me it's just so cool to be at the easternmost point in the whole country. It's very windy here right on the coast, and you can see some land in the distance, but once again I'll say this: that is Canada, part of New Brunswick, not the US. Now, I didn't notice this at the time, but now that I'm thinking about it, we are at this point just about approximately equidistant from the equator as we are to the North Pole. We're almost at 45 degrees north latitude. In addition, believe it or not, we are closer to Africa than Florida might be. Everybody thinks, oh, you know, Florida might be the closest point to Africa. But no, rather here in Maine, we are closer to Africa than we could be anywhere else in the country. So yeah, what a spectacular view we have right here. The blue ocean waters. I think this is ocean enough, right? And we got the rocky coastline. Just stunning. So it is here in Lubec, Maine, well, nearby, I think it's within the town limits, that we end our day with this spectacular view at the easternmost point of the US. Now, as much as I'd love to go further eastward, you can't go further east than the easternmost point. So I'm afraid on this point in our New England excursion, the sequel, it's time to head west. So I'll just leave it at that. So right here at the easternmost point in the United States, more travels to come. I will see you at the next location.